So, I said that I'd be doing videos about planes, and I thought, what better place to start than the humble F-105 Thunderchief. 833 of them were built. It was a Century Series fighter, which are American fighter planes ranging from the F-100 Super Sabre to the F-106 Delta Dart. These were the first supersonic American fighters to see production. Each of them flew for the first time in the early to mid-1950s. The Century series all had similar characteristics in terms of generation and design purpose, which was a mix of fighter-bomber and interceptors. I've digressed. Perhaps talking about the Century series of fighters would be best left for another video. So, the F-105 Thunderchief made its first flight on the 27th of November 1955 and was in production from 1955 to 1964. The F-105 was a plane that was spawned from festering Cold War anxiety. It was designed to fly low and fast and bring the apocalypse from its internal bomb bay, dropping a nuke on some unfortunate city in Eastern Europe. However, during the Vietnam War, it flew more missions and suffered more losses than any other American plane. 395 of them were shot down. It was nicknamed the Thud. Can you guess why? 108 pilots were killed in action when flying the F-105 Thunderchief, mostly due to the deadly S-75 Divina surface-to-air missile, or SA-2 guideline, as NATO preferred to call it. The S-75 was about 31 feet long and had a top speed of Mach 3. In this photo, one of these missiles has exploded after the proximity fuse was triggered. The unfortunate F-105 has been showered in fragments. It was this type of missile that shot down the U-2 over the Soviet Union. No wonder the fast SR-71 Blackbird had to be built. And to counter the threat of SAMs, surface-to-air missiles, the F-105G was developed, the so-called Wild Weasel, which was built to jam radar. In the Vietnam War, these were the fan songs and flat faces, and also to destroy SAM sites when possible. The F-105G is recognizable by its back seat, where the electronics warfare officer sits to operate the jamming equipment. These types of planes typically fly ahead of strike packages to clear the way for them. Although measures were made to minimize the threat of SAMs, such as the Wild Weasel planes and Operation Iron Hand, which was specifically to destroy SAM sites and AAA, surface-to-air missiles and AAA contribute to most of the combat losses that American planes faced during the Vietnam War. The F-105 was designed as a high-speed, low-altitude bomber, but many times it had to do the job of a fighter. However, flaws in its design hindered its abilities in air-to-air combat. It was not agile like a fighter should be, due to the small wings on the long fuselage, which was designed to house the internal bomb bay and the J-75 engine. During the occasions when North Vietnamese MiGs were encountered, the F-105's best hope for survival was often to use its speed to escape. Indeed, it was a very fast airplane, with a maximum speed of over Mach 2. It could outrun any plane in the North Vietnamese Air Force. Fuel was also a problem. The F-105 can use up its entire fuel supply in 4 minutes when on full afterburner. Extensive tankers were needed to make missions possible. KC-135s, which are the tanker version of the Boeing 707, stayed in orbit. Despite the F-105's drawbacks, it did have an internal cannon, which the F-4 lacked until the F-4E was finally developed. F-105s are credited with 27.5 air-to-air victories, and most of these were claimed with the 20mm cannon. The F-105 could carry a very heavy load of conventional bombs, 16 in total. It was used extensively in Operation Rolling Thunder. It was often escorted by the F-4 Phantom. The F-105 was finally retired on the 25th of February 1984. Republic Aviation, its manufacturer, went defunct in 1965 and Fairchild acquired it. Fairchild became defunct in 2003.